somebody is a racist,
Okay.
or just an asshole, or is there a difference? And I'll tell you what made me think of this was that story you told me about being at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
And I thought, you didn't tell me when that occurred, what time frame it occurred. Obviously, it's in your lifetime, but that made me think, well, gosh, that guy must just be a real fucking asshole. Right? And so then I thought, well, is that guy really a racist, or is he just one of those assholes who's looking to elicit trouble, problems, you know? And so I don't know, maybe there's no difference, but you tell me.
I don't.
What do you think?
You will never know a racist unless they are completely overt, or you have the opportunity to catch them in their downtime or regular time when they're being real. Like what they say Sunday when they're watching football, or what they say, when they done had a couple of 903s and then the real buzz comes out. You never can tell. You can't. You really can't. You can't tell between who's a racist and who's just a douche. You can't tell.
So that brings up something I don't want to admit, but I'll admit it. I mean, in honesty and everything, I have said something before that was racist. I knew
That's the easiest way to hurt people. That's the easiest and quickest way.
The craziest thing is I wasn't even saying it to a person who was of that race, but I still felt like an asshole almost immediately after I said it.
As soon as the words came out of my mouth.
So my point on that is, some people say things, some people just repeat shit they heard as they were growing up, right? And they may not know until they've had a chance to realize it later. Oh, that was kind of fucking racist. I shouldn't have said that, right? Is there it seems like such a gray area. Like, does somebody go from a 13-year-old kid might say something really racist and just dumb, but it's like they're 13.
Yeah, 13.
They're dumb.
Yeah, they're dumb.
But at what point does somebody become a full-fledged racist? Maybe it's just like you said. Maybe it's just when they're overt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess another part of that is if somebody has done something racist or said something racist in the past, can they come back from that?
Yes.
What changes?
It changes mindset. It changes. You have to change. I mean, our whole deal is we have to change. Jesus changed us. We have to change. We have to put away that old thinking. You have to find a better way to think. You have to find a better way to do. You have to find yourself in that place where, okay, I'm not gonna, because to go the racist route is the easiest. It's easy. It is not. It is hard to stay on topic if you're in battles with someone that but that's the easiest one for us to throw out, and it's the easiest place to go. Is when, especially if you get into some kind of heated thing. My thing is I see it when they're calm and they're cool and nothing's wrong and that stuff still spews out. Although that attitude is
not
good.
under stress.
Under stress, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
When they say things that don't make sense, or they have ideas that don't make sense, like you would rather your, and this is one that always hits home with them, you would rather your white daughter have a guy that that has nothing, has no aspirations, than her to be with a black man that just graduated college.
That's a good example.
It's like, and no, I'd rather have that. You like what? Like that's racism. That is like, you are not looking at the bigger picture. You're not looking at the on that stuff.
That's a good point.
So it is that. And just like the Confederate flag. You lost.
You brought it up.
You lost.
While you're at it, talk to me about Confederate monuments.
Confederate monuments. I don't understand how you now see, most of these monuments didn't come up after the Civil War. They came up in the 50s, the 40s and 50s and 60s to combat it was their marker to saying that civil rights stuff ain't gonna be here. We still own this place. We still run this place. And the truth of the matter is, because it goes back to economics. You don't own no property here. You don't own no land here. You don't own no business here. We can do whatever we want to. And you can tell the federal government whatever you want to, but when you come here, when you come to Macon, Georgia, it's gonna be what we say. And back in the day, it was oppressive because there was one general store, there was one soup maker, there was one barber. It's not like it is now. Like, I don't understand now how people still get mad at that stuff when there's literally 100,000 people that do exactly what you need done. If they don't want to make a cake, the guy down the street do. So it's not. But when there was a time when there was just one, and that was the only wear, then yes, I understand that. But now, if this guy won't make you a suit, the guy down the street will.
So we're in Sherman, Texas, and we have a Confederate monument on our courthouse square. Does that affect your day-to-day life?
It goes back to seeing that Aunt Jemima.
Okay.
If I out of sight, out of mind, but if I have to go up there, when I go into that courthouse, and I know I got to do business in that courthouse, I see that thing, and what it tells me is that I'm not going to get a fair shake in here. They're not going to give me the right forms.
That's your interpretation.
That's mine, because of the lineage of it, the history, the heritage of it. When I walk in this building, I'm not going to get a fair shake. They're not going to give me the right forms. They're not going to tell me the right day to show back up. They're not going to tell me that on the first Tuesdays this goes on and you need to be here. They're not going to tell me, oh, you need to take this application down to this person. They're not going to tell me. They're going to do everything they subtly can to make sure I trip up and I fail. That's the feeling. That's the anxiety. That's the anxiety when I go into the police station.
That's your fear of one extreme of what could happen.
Yeah, that's my daily fear of that. And I'm trying my best to break out of that. Yeah. And like stuff like when you see people. Have you ever seen somebody whose brain is working fast? You talk with somebody that brain is working faster than their mouth.
Yeah. I do it all the time.
And you see it in their eyes.
Yeah.
So the feeling like you have some inside information that you don't supposed to have, that's readily available, but you don't supposed to have it. And then you ask about it, and they who told you about that?
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
And you like, it doesn't matter who told me about that.
Right. Is it the law or not?
Is it the law or not? Or is this sale happening today or is it not?
Right. Okay.
That kind of stuff, and that's what it feels like, that I'm not going to get a fair shake in here. It's always going to be a problem. It's always going to be you signed the paperwork in some wrong spot, or you didn't use the right ink, or you didn't do this kind of, it's something like, and that's still that no matter how high you get, you still. And when you see that monument sitting there, the monument is a marker. It tells you. When we driving all over the country, we feel better when we see that Texas, because it's a marker, it's a monument, it's what everything we hold true for our home state. We feel better when we get there.
When we get to the Texas.
When we get to that Texas line, we like, see you losers. But that's what it is. It's a monument, and everywhere you go in the South, you see this stuff, and it's a daily reminder, like. Yeah, your boy can play on the same football team as me, but remember. Oh yeah, you can go to the same school, but remember.
So what do you say to another piece of that discussion, which is, frankly, probably a lot of these soldiers, like a lot of soldiers of a lot of wars, just like your father, just like me, were fought by poor people. Mm-hmm. The Confederate Army was fielded with poor people who didn't have slaves.
Can I touch on that, please?
Yeah. That's why I'm asking.
I don't understand why white people are not pissed at that. Because 20% of the southern population had slaves. And when I say slaves, more than 10.
Right.
20% was fighting. 20% was trying to keep their way of life. Those 20% are the ones who were in power. And the other 80 people,
to fight for them.
they sent the poor, and they let your sons die so they could keep money. And when it was over with, they wouldn't even hire you. They started slave laws. They started Jim Crow laws. They started vagrants to put them right back into slavery. When they had slaves, they wouldn't hire you. Why would I go hire a man to work that I gotta pay when I can get these for free? White people should be pissed. They should be the first ones to want to tear down the Confederacy, because they let your sons die for them to stay in power. And it's still the same way now. They pit us against each other so they can stay in power. And now it's not 20%, it's the 2%. I don't understand why white folks ain't pissed. They should be swinging off Confederate statue. They have kept you in this hole for something that lasted for 5 years. And then they sold you BS paper bonds that wasn't worth nothing. They was worth nothing when they sold it to you. I don't understand. White people should be swinging.
Confederate bonds.
Yeah, they should be swinging off the Confederate. Because they let your sons die and you got nothing for it. Nothing. Chase got paid. J.P. Morgan them, they got paid. Their families got paid. You didn't get nothing. And then on the worst part, they pitted you against, because after slavery, you got Uncle Jim, who's the best horseshoer in the city. And you trying to horseshoe too. But guess who everybody want to go to? Uncle Jim, because they already know his work. Because when it became a fair market, it was the best man wins. And when you don't have the inroads like Uncle Jim got, you still ain't making money.
When you say Uncle Jim, are you talking about a black man?
I'm talking about a black man that was shoeing horses for free, and now you gotta pay him. So guess who? And you still couldn't make any money. Because when you go to a fair market, it's basically whoever does it best, no matter how much money you got, whoever does it best, that's the one that gets paid. You can have all the glitz and glamour you want, but if your cake don't come out this good, you're not getting paid. That's the thing. White people
I agree with you. I get that. And to some extent, I mean, if it is truly a free market and you're truly going to go to Mr. Jim,
yeah,
who you know does the best job and you're familiar with his work,
yeah,
isn't that in some way like proof that that you have the ability to do the best job to win out?
Let's go a step further.
Please.
That same Mr. Jim does the best job. He gets paid. He does the best job. And then the powers that be said, if he wasn't in the way, you would be making money. Most of our lynchings that we see, that we have in history books, are not some rando guy that they just picked up off the street. They're business owners. Because if I hang him and get him out the way, it's deterrent for everybody else, and I move him. Now he's the best horseshoer. I'm number 2. Now I'm number 1. We can just get rid of him, and the easiest way to do it is to say he messed with a white woman's virtue. But we have president that one side of the family won't acknowledge the other side of the family. We got Thomas Jefferson that's got white descendants, and he also got black descendants. But the white ones say, no, that's not us. That's a different. Or it doesn't count because she was a slave.
Okay.
Yeah. They did it in Sherman. They burned down Mulberry Street.
Right.
They burned down Tulsa. They burned down Chicago. They burned down St. Louis. They burned down Baltimore. Anytime you're going to get together, we as a people get together, for whatever reason, they're going to burn it down. And that's the easiest way. We had it here in our own county. All you got to say is, all white girls got to say is, some black guy did something to me.
I'm Clay.
I'm Hal.
And we just had a nip of whiskey and a beer, and we had a good conversation. And we're going to have some more conversations.
Stay tuned.